Okay, Zoom is getting ready to prepare the line. Okay.
Hold on, I didn't print out a copy of my agenda.
We can't see Scott.
His video's off.
Oh, there he is.
Why do I have?
Ben, you want me to go back and make you a copy?
I'm printing it right now, Donna.
Okay.
There it goes. Be right there.
Ready to prepare the line. Okay.
Hold on,
We're
I
live
didn't print
on
out a copy
YouTube.
of my agenda.
We can't see Scott.
His video's off.
Hey, we need to make sure we turn off the sound on YouTube, whoever's got it, because that'll create some background noise.
Want me to go back and make you a copy?
I'm printing it right now, Donna.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, that's my bad. Video's off.
This feels like NASA.
I love it, Scott.
So just checking, there's nobody else I'm letting in now. We got a full slate.
Tammy?
Yes.
Still using it.
That's why you have the Dayton logo.
Bob, I think you gotta wait for Tom Edge.
Thanks, here.
He's in.
I'm on here.
Is he in? Oh, okay.
Yep.
For some reason, I can't see you.
I can only see Bill above the eyes. Eyes, you know.
I know. What are you printing? Oh, it's 91 pages.
Now, Michael, do you want all of us to mute our microphones unless we're going to speak, or how's this going to be handled?
I think that would probably be the best thing to do. Cut back on the background noise. Just remember, just to check your kind of window if you're getting ready to say something and unmute it. So yeah, I think that would probably be best.
All right, thank you.
Nice background, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
Nice background, Tom.
Thanks. You've already seen it though, so takes the fun out of it.
Michael? Will you be addressing the questions that came into info?
Yeah, yes and no. I've worked one of them kind of into the report. The other one is kind of, I don't really have an answer for. The one regarding the street paving, because that's something we haven't worked out yet. So I can say that if you want me to answer it.
Please.
The other one I've kind of got worked into the topics.
Sounds good.
This is really strange.
What, not shaking hands before the meeting?
Well, we're all just like looking at each other. Normally we just look out the audience. Now we can actually stare down, I don't
Yeah.
have to turn, I don't have to turn sideways.
It's a whole new world, man.
I don't have my gavel, so I'm going to use a stapler, but it should suffice, I imagine. Where'd Bill go? There he is. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Ben.
All right, it's 7 o'clock. Should we do this?
Do it.
All right. Well, today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. We are reaching everyone live via the internet for the April 21st, 2020 Dayton City Council meeting. So can I get a roll call, please, Donna?
Yes. Mayor Baker,
Here.
Member Volter,
Here.
Member Neary,
Here,
Member Bessler,
Here.
Member Cornett,
Here,
Member Burns,
Here.
Member Lynn,
Here.
City Attorney Giffen,
City Attorney Giffen, I like the sound of that.
oh, City
Present.
Administrator Giffen,
Here. Sorry, Tom.
City
took your
Attorney
job.
Edge.
I understand here.
We have a full house tonight, and I love to see that. You know that. Typically, right now we do the stand up and moment of silence and the pledge. Given the fact that I think that half of you guys are wearing shorts, we don't need to stand up today. So we will do the moment of silence and then the pledge. So moment of silence, please. Pledge. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance
to the flag
to the flag
of the United
of
States
the
of
United
America,
States of America.
America.
and to the
To
republic
republic,
Republic,
which
for
stands
which it stands,
one nation,
one nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
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 justice for all.
liberty
Wrong.
and justice.
Justice for all.
that was weird.
It is weird. Weird times. So we're going to start off tonight with the mayor's report. First of all, I want to say that the city is doing an amazing job of operating under very unusual circumstances. We've operated at almost near capacity with all of our employees. They either come to the city hall or they work remote. Everyone's got their own role, but they've been doing the jobs that we expect of them. We have a lot of projects that we've been working on throughout the year, and those projects are not being put on hold due to this virus and this quarantine. So they're still going, and we're still hoping to get those finished as soon as possible. So I want to make sure that everyone appreciates and gives a big kudos to the employees. Of course, to our fire and our police who are showing up in crazy circumstances, going into houses where nobody wants to to guess what's going on in there and doing their jobs. Our public works have been doing an amazing job. They work daily, all of them, to make sure that we have beautiful streets, even if we may not be driving down them, and make sure everything's working. We're following our governor's guidelines on how to be healthy at home and to stay safe. And we'll continue to do that throughout this pandemic. But I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we are working on all the projects and the goals that we've worked on in the past, and we're working full. So big kudos to those folks. And yes. So with that, we're going to go on to the updates. So if I can approval of the minutes from the March 3rd, 2020 council meeting.
I'll make that motion. This is Neary.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made by Mr. Neary and second by Mr. Volter. Can I get approval?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Any nays? Any abstentions? The ayes have it. Donna, if you could please do the first reading for 2020, number 2, the adopting and enacting supplements of the Code of Ordinances.
Yes, City of Dayton, Kentucky, ordinance number 2020, number 2. An ordinance adopting and enacting supplements to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Dayton, Kentucky, first reading.
Okay, that is the first reading. We have another, we have a couple first readings. Another one would be the 2020, number 3. Donna, could I please have the reading for the amending the procurement process for parking spaces for persons with disabilities?
Yes. City of Dayton, Kentucky, ordinance number 2020, number 3. An ordinance amending the procurement process for parking spaces for persons with disabilities, first reading.
And the last, the first reading for 2020, number 4, the amending the penalty for violation of Chapter 9.1 of the City Code of Ordinances related to animals.
City of Dayton, Kentucky, ordinance number 2020, number 4, an ordinance amending the penalty for violations of Chapter 91 of the City Code of Ordinances related to animals, first reading.
Thank you very much. And then we have Order 2020, number 3R, letter of intent for participation in the United States Army Corps of Engineers proposed Northern Kentucky Riverfront Ecosystem Restoration Project.
City of Dayton, Kentucky, municipal order number 2020 3R, an order authorizing the mayor and city solicitor to execute the required letter of intent for participation in the United States Army Corps of Engineers proposed Northern Kentucky Riverfront Ecosystem Restoration Project.
And those are the first readings and the
Ben,
order. Yes.
on that one, we'll need since it's municipal order, we'll need a motion and a second and a roll call.
Oh, thank you. Do we have a motion to accept Order 2020, number 3, Romeo?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
First was made by Mr. Lynn, the second by Ms. Cornett. Do we have a roll call, please?
Member Cornett?
I think we need a discussion first.
Do we have a discussion on Order 2020, number 3, Romeo?
Yeah, can we have an explanation on this?
Yeah, we got a few questions about this, so I'll be kind of happy to explain it. So this has been a project of South Bank's for the last 10 years. So it's all being coordinated by South Bank partners on behalf of the cities with the United States Army Corps of Engineers. What this does is it simply expresses our intent to participate in this restoration project. We did a feasibility study about 10 years ago, and it's taken this long to convince the federal government to get the funding together for this. So what this would include is a restoration project of the River City's riverbanks. Could be regrading banks to gentler slopes, removing unstable materials, installing different soils and erosion control features, removing invasive species and replacing them with native plants. So this is a $10 million project. What specifically is going to be done in what communities has not been determined yet. There's still going to be several more steps to go through in identifying those areas. This, as I said, just merely expresses our intent to participate. There is a match required. I think it's $1.5 million, but South Bank has raised most of those funds and they'll likely get the remaining balance of that. So this will likely come at no cost to the city. Regardless, this municipal order doesn't lock you into committing to any financing at this point. Again, it's just an intent that we would like to participate. So we're not required, just kind of stating our willingness. And again, it doesn't obligate us to any sort of financial commitment tonight.
Thanks for clarifying that.
Does anybody else have any questions regarding order 2020 number 3 Romeo? Can I have a roll call, please, Donna?
Member Cornett,
Tammy Cornett, aye.
Member Burns,
Aye.
Member Lynn,
Aye.
Member Volter,
Aye.
Member Neary,
Aye.
Member Baszler.
Aye.
The ayes have it unanimously, and order 2020 number 3 Romeo passes. With the same respect, order number 2020 number 4 Romeo, accepting the completed audit for year ending of June 30th, 2019. I believe everyone received a copy of the audit in your mailbox, in your email box on the audit. So do we have a motion to accept 2020 number 4 Romeo?
Mayor, before we do that, we need Donna to read the order.
Donna, could you please read order?
City of Dayton, Kentucky, municipal order number 2020, number 4R. A municipal order accepting the completed audit for year ending June 30th, 2019, and authorizing reporting and publication in accordance with KRS 91A.040.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Donna. Do we have a motion to accept?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, I believe, we'll do ladies first as always. Ms. Cornett, I think you were talking on top of Joe, and we'll take that. So Ms. Cornett made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Member Neary. Do we have any comments on the audit that was presented to us ending in June 30th of 2019? With no comments, can we move forward with a roll call vote?
Member Burns,
Aye.
Member Lynn,
Aye.
Member Volter,
Aye.
Member Neary,
Aye.
Member Baszler,
Aye.
Member Cornett.
Aye.
The ayes have it unanimously. We'll move ahead to the city administrator's report. Mr. Giffen, if you could please provide the city administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. And first, I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank city staff, everybody at City Hall, everybody in the police and fire department. It has been a strange month, to say the least, but everybody has been moving forward as if nothing is going on despite different locations. So again, I just want to thank the mayor, thank everybody that's continuing to work hard for us, and hopefully we'll get back to normal pretty soon. So the first thing I've got, a few things to go over on my report, is an industrial revenue bond. And Tom, you can correct me. Does this need to be read as a order once I explain it, or?
No, once you explain it, just ask for the motion, and one of the members can make the motion second,
Okay.
and then they can vote.
Okay, thank you. So this industrial revenue bond topic has been something that we have been working with the school on for probably the last 10 months or so. And it involves the 3 projects that were approved at the planning and zoning meeting in April of 2019. And so it's really an agreement between the Manhattan Harbor Development Group, who's a sub-developer, and really the Dayton Independent Schools. We're just acting as a conduit for this type of financing to take place. There's absolutely no obligation or risk to the city or to the school for any of the debt that's used to finance these projects. There's nothing that the city is giving up as part of this deal. Nothing changes for us. The state has already approved the bonds on their end, and the Dayton Independent School has approved their terms to the agreement. It's been a long time coming. As I said, this is for new residential development projects in the Commons, the Lookout, and the Bend, also referred to as the narrow section of Manhattan Harbor. If you all have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those at this time regarding this topic.
Michael, in the documentation, it appears that the school district is going to get pretty substantial sum of money up front. The city is not receiving any lump sum payment up front. It does not affect in any way the current TIF agreement, correct?
Correct. The wording is meant to mirror the terms of the TIF agreement that are already in place. So the payments that we receive in lieu of taxes, since it's a tax financial tool, matches exactly what we would take in those taxes anyway. So it's really just taking our language and mirroring it. Nothing changes on our end. The school did a fantastic job, and we worked closely with them but they're getting a great deal. Most school districts give up 80% on these type of things. They're only giving up 35. And as you said, they're getting some upfront money as well. So kudos to Jay and the board down there. They did a really good job in working with the developers on finding some middle ground where everybody can get a victory out of this. Anybody else? Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion of council to allow the mayor to enter into the industrial revenue bond agreement with Manhattan Harbor Development Group and the Dayton Independent School District.
I'll make a motion to allow the mayor to enter into an agreement with Manhattan Harbor Development Group and the Dayton Independent School District regarding the industrial revenue bonds. Second.
The motion has been made by member Volter and seconded by member Lynn. Any further comment regarding this issue? Going once, twice. Ms. Ledger, can we please have a roll call vote?
Member Lynn,
Aye.
Member Volter,
Aye.
Member Neary,
Aye.
Member Baszler,
Aye.
Member Cornett,
Aye.
Member Burns.
Aye.
The ayes have it unanimously. Mr.
And
Giffen?
then, yep, I've got two projects I'd like to update you all on. One fun, one not so fun. We'll start with the not so fun one first. I want to update everybody on the Irvin Terrace project being done by the Water District and SD1. SD1 is moving pretty quickly at this point. They're doing about 20 to 30 feet of pipe per day. And I know we've received several complaints about the road being closed, and I know this has been a huge inconvenience for the residents up in this area. But when the road is closed, it's being done for your safety. There are a lot of parts of the road that are still undermined and will need to be backfilled as SD1 wraps up their portion of the project. But we expect them to wrap up the work pretty soon, and the paving company will immediately follow to finish it off. So I do want to get you all an update on that. The fun one, sidewalk projects. So thankfully, all the parties agreed to sign off on the right-of-way acquisition, so we did not have to resort to eminent domain in order to keep the project going. So that was nice. And we're currently submitting the documents to the state for right of way. And once those are approved, then we can get the project ready for bid. So we're pretty confident at this point that it can still be a 2020 project. We're just going to have to lean on the state pretty heavily in order to push this through. And hopefully we'll get that done quickly and we get the thing out to bid. Any questions on those two things? I know those are kind of two hot topic items, so I'd be happy to answer any questions that I may not have covered.
Could you
Michael?
clarify on the Irvin Terrace issue? Could you clarify what pretty soon means?
Well, since they shut the plants down in December, I've said that the project would finish up this spring, and that's still what we would expect. So I don't want to give a specific date, but I'm fairly confident that it'll finish up here by the spring, in the spring.
So sometime in May?
I'm not gonna say something on here and then made look like an idiot. I don't think they have too much left to do. When I talked to Rick today, SD1, they're moving pretty quickly, and that's really the last piece that needs to fall. I would guess they probably only have another week and a half left to work. But you know, strange times, who knows? I don't want to make any sort of predictions, but pretty confident it'll be done before the end of spring.
Michael,
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to make a comment about this. You know, I've been very vocal about this. This has been a disaster for SD1 and all the citizens of Dayton. Just not the people who live on Irvin Terrace, but everybody in the city of Dayton. And as far as I'm concerned, SD1 has done a very good job.
Well, point taken. I appreciate that, Bill. To clarify, it's the water company project. They're the ones that initiated it. SD1 just came in at the last minute because they had a project that needed to be done, and they didn't want to have to tear up the new street once it got put in. So, I mean, your comments taken. I understand. I just want to clarify that SD1 is just coming in to do something at the last minute. It's really a water company project. Not to put it all on them, but let's call
I
it.
stand corrected. I stand corrected. It wasn't SD1, it's your water department, as you said. It's still been a horrendous job. We told the citizens, you know, I told you that the plants will be shut down in December because of weather, and it's still not done.
Yep, I agree, Bill. And I agreed with you back then. I didn't think they were going to get it done, and they didn't.
Very well.
Mr. Giffen,
Yes.
we were up there the other day looking at the excavation, and the challenge is the way the road was put down initially. It was done, what, 100 years ago. There's no gravel, there's no compacting, and that's why it's collapsing in and they have to use the trench shoring. Is there any consideration of putting a weight limit on Irvin Terrace for heavy construction vehicles, et cetera, after this is all done? I'm really afraid that that's going to, you know, just keep subsiding and sliding down the hill.
We could definitely talk to them about what they might recommend, and I'd have to go back and look. I know some of our streets have weight limits. I know Dayton Pike comes to mind. There are some pieces of legislation out there that have been passed. We may just need to go back and dig up to see if it's already been done, but certainly something we can look into for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to get Mr. Lucas's input on that and possibly the paving company to see what their thoughts are. The underlayment is the issue.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to say a specific date, because the milling company, once they get in there, that's going to be kind of our hold our breath moment to see you know, how that goes. Since they've done all this work underground while they were doing the water main replacement and the lateral line replacements, we're a lot more confident that it's been stabilized. But you know, we have a lot of these streets, we don't know what's underneath them, and we don't find out the bad stuff until they get in with the miller, and that's when it kind of, some of those faults rear their head that you didn't know were there. So knock on wood that everything that they've done underground through both the entities have shorted up. The new curb work, some of the sidewalk work, and some of the new catch basins obviously will hopefully help keep the road in better shape for a longer period of time.
So all the sidewalk and curb work is done? We're just the roadway?
No,
is
they're
not.
still doing some minor sidewalk and curb work. I think mostly curb work from what I understand. I know Rick said that SD1 is, they're really going through and trying to fix, areas that are bad that they damaged. I don't know the full extent of it, but he did say they're still working on some curbs, so that's not done yet. That's part of what they're doing.
And member Neri, just to follow on answering your question, Urban Terrace isn't one of the roads with a weight limit. The only two in Dayton are Dayton Pike and Lincoln Road.
Okay. Thanks, Tom.
No, that's something we may want to consider in the future since it is pretty steep street and that's where you run
Yeah.
into problems with the asphalt sliding. Again,
Yeah.
I'll defer to the experts, but it's something we need to bring up.
Yep, I'll make a note of that. Unless anybody has any questions, Mayor, that was kind of the end of my report, those two projects. So last chance, anybody, any questions on those two things? And I'll wrap up. Okay, Mayor, it's all yours.
Thank you, sir. On the list here, I have industrial revenue bond for Manhattan Harbor. Wasn't that already discussed?
We
Yes,
made
that's
the
what
motion.
we
right.
did first. Yeah,
Yeah, so there's no reason to have this on the agenda further down, right?
correct.
All right, just making sure. Further updates, I want to make sure that we recognize that public comment was taken this week. Anybody who wanted to reach out to council was allowed to do so via email, which is a little different. I really like to have people stand up and state their case. But we did take those, and the questions that we received this week were on the sidewalk project. And I believe the administrator did a great job of expressing where we're at on that, as well as Urban Terrace. Both those things were well addressed. I hope everybody knows that we're working very hard to complete these projects. All the department reports that we have for this month and possibly next month, considering the extension of this quarantine, will be available on DaytonKY.com. So if you want to understand where we're at with our police report, our fire report, our public works, and of course our Main Street are also all available on DaytonKY.com. So please read those if you'd like to. I also want to give a major thanks to our council. This is crazy times. We're all dealing with new technology, and I think we've shown very well. So congratulations and thanks to all of our council for putting together so that we can still have these very meaningful and very important meetings available to the public. So you guys are awesome, and big kudos to you.
Mayor, sorry to interrupt
No, of
before
course.
we get too far down the road here. I don't know if you or Mr. Giffen has a copy of the actual comments received by the public, but we probably should read the question verbatim into the record.
Oh,
I've got the one that came in for the riverbank stabilization. I believe I've got that one handy. Tom, do I need to read who it came from?
Yes, unless they ask to remain anonymous.
Okay, these are not. So I received a question from Kathy Gordon regarding Municipal Order 2020 number 3. She asked, what financial commitment does this require? What is the time frame of completion? Is participation mandated by federal or state law? And is there any contribution of labor or funding by state or federal entities?
Andrew.
Then the other question.
Mayor, do you have that other one?
I'm looking right now. Didn't we have Ms. Gordon also asked a question concerning the eminent domain on the sidewalk project?
Well, Tom, you can kind of let me know what you want to do with this. So Kathy Gordon sent in that email to me and I responded to her on an email. And then that kind of created a little bit of a back and forth between she and I. Does that need to be included in the record?
No, just the initial question.
Yeah, okay.
And about the Dayton Avenue question?
Yeah, there was the paving question.
Yes, sir.
I've got that somewhere there. So this came from a Sean Tolby, sent on April 16th, 2020. He asked what the time frame is for repaving the rest of Dayton Avenue, specifically the 1200 and 1300 block.
I believe you covered that in your administrator's report, correct?
I can't remember if I said that or not. I basically said we don't have anything, any paving list complete just yet. Rick and I are working on that, so that's something we'll finalize and we'll definitely take into consideration his requests, and then I can give him an answer.
Fair enough, Michael. And then have we had any further questions come in since we shut down the time frame for public comment? Has anybody made any other public comment that may have been after the deadline?
I did not receive any after the deadline.
Just want to make clear for the record. Thanks.
Anything else, Mr. Edge?
No, that'd be it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I want to also remember everybody to please support our local businesses. Right now, it's crazy time. So if you can buy a gift certificate from any of our services, please do so. If you can do carry out from any of our restaurants, please do so. If you can shop our local stores with proper social distancing and one person per household in each store, we'd appreciate that. We love them. We need them. We're very reliant upon them. So make sure we're sponsoring them during these times. That is all I have for this evening. Anything else from council? Would anybody like to make an adjournment request?
Move to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Mr. Volter has made the movement and seconded by Ms. Cornett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight on hopefully the last video conference that we do for this pandemic. I hope everybody is safe and well, and take care, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Appreciate it.
See y'all.
See ya.